Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we study the political landscape far and wide, from local to state to national and international, to give you all the information you need to make a good decision at the ballot box. So let's get this show going. Let's welcome all the way from there we go, all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma, and he's all ready to go. He got his tooth in and he's awake. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Oh, so how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. The weather is starting to warm up. Looks like we're going to be in the 80s next week.
Oh, well, it's been cold yesterday and today. It got cold last night. I had to turn the heater back on, but you know, it was just downright nippy last night. But today, it's been in the 50s. So
yeah, same here.
You know, same here. But considering we were almost in the 80s 3 days ago, you know, wow. It was quite a drop. So
yeah.
But anyway.
Alrighty, let's welcome all the way from that blue state of New York. It's Charles Gillespie. Welcome.
AR, and Lloyd, everybody in the chat.
Hey, Charles.
And how's the weather down there or up there in
well, last couple of days have been quite lovely, but we're going to be getting the revenge winter's last stand here over the next few days.
Right.
Rain, possible snow, below freezing temperatures at night, yada yada.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's what's went on this week. Is I don't think we have any more cold weather coming in, but then we've got Easter coming up, and Easter is always a hit and miss, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
yeah, let's see. Good Friday is on the 18th, so Easter will be on the 20th. Am I correct?
Of April?
Yeah.
Wow, it's that late. I didn't realize it was quite that late. Yeah.
Good Friday is in April this year. Yep.
Yeah.
April 18th.
Yeah, so it'd be 3 days later. So the Friday, Saturday, the 19th, Sunday is the 20th. So 20th of April. So still a month from today is Easter.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And I remember a couple of years ago when I went to the Philippines. Let's see. It was Good Friday when I left, and got there, and James was like, "Wow, you picked kind of a funny time, but because it's Easter, but the roads are quiet. I guess it's because people were staying home and getting ready to celebrate Easter Sunday."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So that was good, and I think it was on Sunday, I think it was Monday that I went down to Davao and met Irene for the first time. And
so you've been to the Philippines then?
Yeah, I have been. Yes.
I didn't know that.
So Yeah, it was a lovely time. That would have been my second time there, and yeah, very nice. So let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We got Ronnie, God bless America. We got Uncle Bill, Uncle Bill's Toys, and TJ, Giggles FTV, and we got Lake Pilot, which is it? Oh, I'm having a brain fart. Who Lake Pilot?
Jack, right?
Jack. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Steve Knowles and Charles Skotsky, and that's about it. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Brian.
Right. You got, you did say TJ, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
All right. So we have people vandalizing Tesla dealerships.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it's kind of ironic when you think about it. Of course, they talk about all the homegrown terrorists the left does. And
Right.
these people now suddenly are they're keeping quiet, and apparently they've already charged some people from what I understood just a little earlier.
Good.
So yeah, and the left is supposed to be and they're all, the left's all for this, they're all supporting this, yay, solidarity, blah blah blah.
Right.
But he sells more electric vehicles than any other company in the world.
Right.
Electric vehicle has been the pride and joy of the left for the last 12 years or more.
Right.
Even about it in the last 4 years, that's all they've talked about.
Right.
And now all of a sudden they're burning said electric vehicles.
They're burning.
And they're burning them. That's the thing. They're burning them, which is not environmentally friendly. Now, I don't know that there's an.
Now, who were the last people to burn objects and books and?
Oh, that was the Nazis. Yeah, they were doing that. Yeah, Nazis did that kind of
call
thing.
us Nazis, and they're
they need to understand the difference, because the Nazis is the National Socialist Party, and that's exactly where these people are. They're socialists, the difference between the difference, and I can't see that there's a big difference between communism, socialism, and Nazism as far as that goes. As far as they're I'm sure they all come from a different point of view, but as a matter of fact, where was Karl Marx from?
I believe he was from Russia or Germany. You know what? I might have to Google that.
German, which
yeah.
I may be wrong. I would, if he was Russian, I'd say Markowski or something, but not Marx, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Oh, German-born philosopher, political theorist, economist, journalist, revolutionary socialist. Yep, you're correct.
Yep. Exactly.
He was born in Trier. Wasn't Germany, but it'd be part of. I think it was after the Holy Roman Empire had fallen. He was born in 1818.
Right.
And died March 14th. Wow, that's just recently. Not recently, but in 1883 in London, England.
London, England. Yeah, March 14th. Yeah, that was Friday because that was the date Judy passed away on too, was March 14th. So
okay.
Yeah. So that's a day I won't forget. Now I'll remember Karl Marx too. So anyways, wish I hadn't asked. But anyways, yeah. So they've got, there's all this burning. Well, and let me ask you this. How many towns, cities, buildings, or vehicles did we as the right burn when Biden
won? Biden, yeah, that's correct. But I do recall some right-wing zealots burning abortion clinics.
This is true. This is
Yeah,
true.
you're not. We can't.
We're not
paint-
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ronnie, it's hard to believe it's been a year already. I just it seems to me like it was just a couple months ago. And
mhm,
but yeah. But yeah, I mean the right's not we're not, our but the difference is it seems but those are the ones that are the far left, they've are
yeah,
far right, and they're a limited number
right.
compared to what we have on the left, which seems to be the party of hate. They hate
Yep.
themselves, they hate everybody else, they hate
Hmm.
this country, and
Yep.
they just, they that's you know, and I don't know, maybe going from the spiritual point of view, maybe this is what happens when you become atheist and agnostics and
Right.
actually I won't put agnostics in there, atheists, because agnostics hold out hope that they think there's something out there. They're just not sure what yet.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
they've got that wait and see attitude.
Yeah. They're
When we
fence-sitters.
get there, we'll find out. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
let's hope it's not the wrong. Let's hope you're not finding
Yeah.
out that.
Then we get the. Yeah. They're kind of like libertarians. Yeah. They're kind of a little bit on the left and mostly on the
Well,
right, but they.
agnostics believe that there is a higher power. They're just not sure in what form it comes. They believe that there's
Right.
a possibility of there being something,
Mhm.
whereas an atheist does not believe in anything, which
Yep.
I find, again, hard to believe because do you know how much, how hard it is to believe in nothing? I mean, for them to believe that there's not,
Mhm.
that's a, that's a religion of itself. They have, they've got a lot of faith that nothing's there, which, it's little double entendres there, but it makes sense. It's like, that's a
Mhm.
lot of work. It's just like being a liberal. It's hard being a liberal because you got to wake up every morning and find out what do we hate
Mhm.
today, you know?
And if you're going to key a swastika on a Tesla, make sure you got it going the right way. I think the
There's,
Nazi swastikas
yeah,
go
there,
clockwise,
yeah, I can't remember now.
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise.
counterclockwise. Okay,
Because, it's funny because in Grand Junction, Colorado, they may have taken it down, but in Grand Junction, Colorado, in front of their courthouse, uh, and the city hall, there's a big stone monument. I was blown away when I first saw it when I moved from Denver to Grand Junction. But there's a big stone monument, and it's a Native American symbol in which the Native Americans are the center of the world and the universe rotates around them.
right. Mhm.
It's a swastika,
Uh,
but it goes clockwise.
yeah. Hmm.
But it was there, and
Yep.
they were, if anybody was anti-Nazis, Grand Junction was,
Yeah.
but
And it was also you'll find it in some Indian.
well, that's what
There's
that's what this was. It was an Indian symbol that was being used. It
the,
was put
di-
up by the tribes. Oh, I'm sorry.
the different Indian
Oh, the East Indians.
yes, from
Yes,
India
the
Indians.
Hindustans.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hindustan. Yeah, that's.
yeah.
Hmm. And so we have a senator from Arizona who decided to trade in his Tesla for a Chevy Tahoe.
Oh, that's
Wow,
right.
let's buy
Yeah,
a gas guzzler. Mark Kelly,
Mark Kelly. Yeah,
former astronaut.
yeah.
Yeah,
Whose brother is apparently just about as liberal as he is, and he was on when they brought back, which is a segue into the next section
uh,
we were going to talk about, when the two castaways that were up in
yeah,
space, and they were
castaways.
yeah, sort of like Gilligan's Island, they were stuck up there.
Hmm.
It's just supposed to be a 3-day tour.
3-day tour.
Yeah. And
3-hour
tour. Yeah. Well,
Eh.
yeah. The song is a 3-hour tour. Those guys, they were only supposed to be a 3-day tour. So they were just supposed to go up and come back, But anyways, apparently Mark Kelly's brother, he was really having to dance around talking about, because he's obviously not a fan of Elon Musk. And yet Fox brought him on as a, because apparently he was an astronaut too. So they brought him on as a,
cool.
An expert, but he was biting his tongue every time he had to say, Elon Musk, because it just his chaps that he had to admit that, that Boeing's little kerfluffle, the thing that they got all that money. There's just right there, Doge, and that's at its best. Boeing got all the money for the contract, and they got 90%, and 10% of it went to, Elon Musk. So all the rest of it, he footed the bill. Him and his investors footed the bill for it, as far as the development of SpaceX.
Right.
And Boeing was late. That was the first time they'd actually finally made it up to space as far as a manned, and the first time they take a man up there is a Charlie Foxtrot, and they have to bring it back unmanned because, they're not going to, because that would have killed Boeing for sure had they brought them back, exploded on it, way back. That would have been the end of Boeing, I think, right there.
Well, fortunately for them, the capsule did make it back intact, and they were just worried about it because there was a fuel leak or something that was going on.
Well, fuel leaks are kind of dangerous. What if one of the guys one of the astronauts wanted to, light a cigarette or something up there?
Right.
Like they and they couldn't go outside to smoke because that's where the fuel was leaking. That'd make a bigger fire. So, or did they keep the no smoking light on? All the time?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Which I find ironic that they still have those on aircraft.
Yeah, I know.
Why do they have the no smoking?
And you know what? On some of the planes, they still have the ashtrays in the chair.
Yeah. When you find one that still has an ashtray, you're probably
in the lavatory too.
Or in the lavatories, yeah.
Wow. We got Joel, Skyfly Network, and Don Mudball, and Grant, Mr. S.
My good buddy Grant, yeah.
And so they brought back the astronauts, and good old Elon Musk,
Yeah.
Here's a guy that has, now he's got to be careful where he points his arm because he might be accused of being a Nazi,
Yeah. They just.
Yet they've
gone overboard.
All over the place of Democrats doing the same thing. And it's like,
oh yeah. Well, look at the former running mate of the now defunct Democratic Party, the vice presidential running mate. He was doing it with both arms.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was doing the double Heil. Yeah, that guy was a joke too. He was in the news this week too. He's just
I saw that Gutfeld was talking about it. I gotta go back and watch the video.
Yeah.
So
he was on a podcast with Gavin Newsom, and he's talking about he'd be able to whoop somebody's ass. I'm not sure who, but it's Lincoln. Yeah, maybe some of the people down in San Francisco you might, but I even doubt that. Yeah.
Like that, let's give our hearts and prayers out to Cat Tim, who is going to have double mastectomy.
Oh, is she? Yeah.
And followed up with the reconstructive surgery after that. And we wish her a full speedy recovery. So
yeah.
And also glad to hear that she's got a healthy baby boy or girl. Now you gotta make me look.
Well, it's your job. You're the host. I'm just comic relief here. You know.
You call that comic?
Really? You're a fine one to be talking. Yeah.
Okay. And wow, she's only 5'3". Wow.
Yeah. She's a little bitty thing.
A little gal.
Yeah, about an inch taller than Judy.
Okay. Baby.
Well, they haven't announced. I think they're waiting to see what his gender is going to be assigned, aren't they?
Oh, okay.
I think they have to wait until it's 3 and then find out what his gender assignment will be then.
Okay.
Yeah, when it makes up his mind. Yeah. I'm thinking it was a little boy, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think you are right, but
So, anyways, we were talking about the burning of Teslas. That's the newest. That's the newest protest going on, and I understand they have arrested some people.
Good.
And of course, the Democrats are being very quiet on the idea of domestic terrorism. You know.
Yep.
And then we go moving away from that. We go right to the domestic terrorists themselves. The Hispanic gangs that are being deported back to Venezuela or wherever they're from. And the biggest domestic terrorist amongst the bunch is the friggin' judge that wants them to be brought back, you know?
Right.
Like, let's bring these these bloodthirsty gang leaders back to the United States to give them a fair trial.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
so
let's get them the hell out of here, and then we let them deal with their. It's their monkeys, their circus. Let them deal with it, and even here in Denver, there was one activist who was, and she's not a citizen as well, and she's going to be deported. She was the one trying to get those gang members to stop them from being deported. And there are some. We had some people here in Denver that they escaped, and I wonder how that could happen. In a liberal city,
Yeah, and this judge he was demanding he wanted a moment by moment of when did they send him out, because he issued an order for him to turn around and come back or whatever, and they'd already left and were on their final they had already landed by the time he issued the order. But he's wanting this moment by moment itinerary, and they just simply said War Secrets Act, sorry.
Yep.
This is against terrorism, and this fall, and it sounds like, and that's the problem. We got a bunch of judges that have been appointed over the last 40 years or last 30 years that are very liberal, and there's a lifetime appointment, and it's time to, maybe quit the lifetime appointments, especially of the lower courts, because they're not supposed to be legislating from the bench,
Right.
but
That's
yet,
right.
but they are. There's, that statue of justice has a blindfold for a reason, because justice
Mhm.
is supposed to be blind, but it's obviously not. Now, the left's going to argue the same about the conservative judges,
Uh,
but still, that that judge was just completely way out of line. He and what's the other? Oh, the judge that is telling the president he's got to hire all these USAID contractors back.
right.
Even though it's there, and I heard this today. Will Kane said there is uh, one of the advisors to the president, one of his cabinet members or whatever, who was on there, said there is no cap or minimum of how many people the each federal place has to hire. In other words, they can run a department with two people. That's what that's yeah, just Lloyd Justice
Yeah.
is blind if you look from the other side. But anyway, so, and that falls under the authority of the president. How many people does he need to run the government offices,
Right.
and
Hmm.
it's up to him. And because there's nothing in the Constitution anywhere that says that, well, if you have a department, you got to have 10,000 people,
Right. Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know. And so this judge is trying to say, he doesn't have the right to end these contracts, but yet he does, because under his authority as the head of the
Right.
executive branch, he can
Yeah.
say how many people he needs to run his administration.
Right. Hmm.
So there's a lot of judges that are they're really trying to ball things up, and these are liberals that are reaching out, because the Democrats are floundering. There's no leadership, and
Right.
now, wow, they're starting to eat their own. They're starting to stab each other in the back, and it's just, uh, I was talking to my cousin today. It looks like 2026, which is what they were hoping to get some house seats back, and maybe
Hmm.
even the Senate. At this point, and of course, I've always said if the Republicans can screw it up, we do it better than
Yeah.
anybody.
That's true.
But for once in in my memory, for once, all the Republicans are working for one goal, and that's to help make America better, to
Right.
bring back common sense.
Right.
Even those, the line walking Republicans are starting to,
Right.
fall into place, and
Right. Hmm.
they realize just exactly what this last election was about, and that was
Right.
common sense, you
Hmm.
know. So, uh, so I think that if the Democrats keep going, because I mean, Joaquin Jeffries, he's not leading. He's not,
No.
it was okay
They're not
when
even listening to him.
what?
They're just going out. They're not even listening to him.
No,
They're going off
because
do their own thing.
yeah,
He's the one that said, "Don't be disrespectful at the speech and all this, and don't make a scene." And what did they do? They did
I,
it anyway.
I think Nancy Pelosi, if she was going to appoint Jeffries as her replacement, she should have actually quit,
Yeah.
because a lot of people are still looking at her to lead, and a lot of them don't even listen to her now, because
Yep. Hmm.
she's no longer really the leader. So
Right.
uh the Democrats have an opportunity to actually make their party amount to something.
Right.
Not that I'm giving them advice or supporting that they do. I don't want them to win either. But
Right.
if they got rid of the AOCs, the
Yeah.
all of those that all those type of people, the Talibs and all of those groups,
all they need to do is
and just
have
get
a
common sense.
Yeah,
Have a platform.
Yeah,
one that they will adhere to.
Right.
Because that's been the biggest thing. They've all been united in their hatred for Donald Trump.
Yeah,
but even that's not working.
Yep, that's right.
So
and that's just not enough to go on. You need to have ideas. You need to have a platform of what you're for, and
that was the biggest problem with the Republican Party for years. We didn't have, for the last, until Trump came along, for the last 20 years, we haven't had a real direction, and we had the old school ones that have been sitting there making money off of it long term, and then you had the every time we got a good group of up and coming guys, they shot them down, and but now the Republicans finally have realized after the 2020 election, and they've realized what their own infighting did to them.
Right.
So they realized that maybe we need to play this differently for once.
Right.
And they also realized the American people were fed up with it.
Right.
I honestly think that we as citizens just threw our arms up and said, all right, just let the Democrats have free reign, run willy-nilly, and let's see how they like it. And that's what happened. Let the most unqualified person the Democrats could have ever put up there. Let him be the president, and let them screw it up so bad that, hey, Donald Trump don't look so bad after all.
And this gave Trump an opportunity to formulate his strategy for his next,
because he spent his first term fighting off the never Trumpers, the liberal Democrats, the socialists.
He never held office before, and he really didn't know what he was doing. He was listening to a lot of really bad advice, saying, you know what? You need to get somebody from Texaco to be your Secretary of State. You need to get this guy, that guy. Oh, Jeff Sessions. Oh, get him. Yeah, he'd be great for Department of Justice.
Who was the Secretary of State under Trump the first time?
Oh, well, first it was Tillerson. And then he left. And then I think was it Pompeo?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But
Mike Pompeo. I think that's that sounds about right.
I think Tillerson only lasted like 18 months, maybe a year. And then he quit. I think he just found out, oh boy, this is just too much work. And he didn't have the experience. All he knew was how to deal with the Middle East, and he didn't know how to deal with all of these,
all these other different, and Trump, I think at that point was also a bit of a micromanager, because he tried to run everything himself, but he was so busy dodging, spitballs from the never Trumpers and the left. Well, after 2020, the never Trumpers were just, after that, come 22, they were pretty well on their way out, and by 24,
a lot of them either they decided not to run or lost in the primary. I mean, look at what happened with Cheney. She got beat, and got beat badly in the primary.
Yeah, well, she deserved to be beat, because she was, she wasn't what I would consider conservative.
Highest profile never Trumper.
Yeah.
So she'll probably get a spot as an analysis person for CNN or MSNBC.
Where? Yeah, I mean, shoot, they're getting rid of the ones they got now. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, those jobs are getting far and few between. You notice there's not a lot of people from Biden administration that are doing those jobs. I mean, they're getting rid of if they just get rid of Maddow, I think my year would be complete. You know.
Well, they got rid of Joy Reid and Don Lemon. They got rid of a while ago, and
they need to get rid of Behar and
How about the View? Get rid of the View.
The View altogether. The View altogether. That just needs to be.
They used to have a token Republican on there. Now they really don't have a conservative on their on their board. What say you, Charles?
Well, two things. Number one, maybe three things. I thought The View was on a different network than CNN.
Yeah.
So, number two, I would pretty much agree. These shows need to go. Well, I have to be careful because I do believe in freedom of speech. I really do believe in freedom of speech. These people do have the right to say stuff, and express their opinions. But they've gotten tremendously out of control. They're so far afield, especially Whoopi Goldberg, with that whole thing with the cupcakes. I mean, she was just attempting to torpedo these people for what reason?
Right.
I mean, if it wasn't politics and it was the most petty, for somebody with her kind of money and clout, she could have easily just gone somewhere else, and gotten those cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the third thing I have to say is that YouTube is giving me an awful lot of problems, so I need to bounce out, and I'll be right back in 2-3 minutes, probably.
All right. Okay.
All right.
So with Charles gone, what are we going to do?
Oh,
he usually carries the show for us.
Yeah, I know.
He does all the talking for us. Wow.
We could talk about Department of Ed being dismantled. And Trump just signed an executive order to start the process on that.
And, and with that, I think, oh God, what's her name? The Secretary of Education. No, the Secretary of Education. What is her name? I can. Her husband ran owned WWE. McMahon. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, she has already said she's going to cut the workforce in half.
Yeah,
she's already 50% of them are going to be laid off immediately. So, in order to get rid of the Department of Education, she's also going to start seeing to it that the money that is being dispersed for certain things will be sent to the states for them to, but with a caveat that no DEI, no
no boys in sports.
Yeah, no boys in sports. Thank you, Lon.
Lon's
McMahon.
here.
Yeah. I should have known that. I mean, I watched WWE, and it's real. I know it is. That's real wrestling. I've known it wasn't real for as long as I can remember, but anyway, but it's fun. Some of it, sometimes it's just stupid.
Yeah.
But, sort of like the Department of Education. They couldn't have picked a better. Miss McMahon is perfect for, because she was really the power behind the WWE. She kept it afloat for years.
Yep.
In spite of her idiot husband.
Pile drive too.
Yes, she does. Hey, she's been in the ring and taken a fair few licks herself a couple of times.
Right.
Okay. But one person who is in the WWE Hall of Fame. It's very
Tyrus?
important. Who?
Tyrus?
Oh no. Well, he might be. I don't know if he is or not. No, Donald J. Trump himself.
Oh, interesting. Did not know that.
They did a thing, and it was the millionaire versus millionaire skit for a while, and there was a storyline they ran, and he ended up winning, or his team did, and Vince McMahon had to shave his head bald.
Oh,
That was the bet. Whichever one lost had to shave their head. And
okay.
but he was very active with the WWE. That's why
Okay.
McMahon was picked for this, because it was partly her doing that he got involved in that. But yes, our president is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Okay. Okay.
And,
Cool.
The only president in the United States to ever have that.
Interesting.
But yeah, anyways. But yeah, she's doing a good job, I think, of making sure that they're getting rid of that education system that they were using
oh yeah.
the where they changed the history to suit the
Right. That
politics.
would be Noam Chomsky. Yeah, get rid of his books.
Yeah, well, no, not just that. It's the whole thing that they've been using for the last few years. What they call
oh God, who's the other guy? I'm trying to think.
It doesn't matter who the person was. It's the program. It's the educational
Right.
program that has been pushed.
I'm thinking of the guy that wrote the history books, and they started adopting them back in the 70s, and it was either Zen or Noam.
Yes, Cool Cat for 2 Gimps.
Huh?
I just answered Cool Cat. Yes, we're down to 2 Gimps.
Yeah, down to 2 Gimps. Oh God.
But
Howard Zinn, I think it was his name.
Yeah,
Howard Zinn. Yep.
Yeah.
He's okay. Yeah, teaching people's history. The Zen Education Project. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got rid of that. And that's where they started screwing around with history and trying to inject modern day ideals on what happened then.
And
we got into a thing with Lon about blankets with smallpox, and how
I was in on that. Yeah,
we did not know germs. We didn't know anything about germs.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So to equate our understanding of medicine
today
to back then,
right,
they were probably just saying, you know what, let's get rid of these dirty old blankets.
Well,
thought about
that's just that. Yeah, there's a lot to that, and of course you're because I was in there when we were having that conversation too, as an Uncle Bill show.
That's right.
So yeah, and he's it's just I think his reference was to the history of what and I talked about this with Grant last night, the history of the Europeans and what they did to this continent. Of course, I brought up the fact that our Native Americans aren't the original people here, as in the North America. Those in Canada and all down through to about middle of Mexico, they came from, or what most of our Native American tribes here, their lineage comes from the group that came across the Bering Strait, in from what is that, Manchuria or
no, that'd be Siberia.
But they were the Mongols, Mongolians and that came across and then came down. And of that, they were the Asians that came across there.
Right.
And but on the other hand, when you get into the South, there's a lot of similarities between the Middle East, the Egyptians, the pyramids, and the Incas, Aztecs, and their stuff. And yeah, Lon just heard what we said, but yeah, but so even they weren't, so those in the southern hemisphere were probably related to the Phoenicians and Egyptians and those groups that came over from the African continent.
Oh.
Because there's a lot of,
Did they sail across the Atlantic to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They've proven that they could, and of course everybody says they had papyrus boats, but you think about how far back the Middle Eastern people have been sailing,
Right.
and it's very conceivable that they could have sailed here, and didn't know how to get back, and they stayed here, and so it's that's like I said, and when you look at the Aztec and the Incas and the Mayan ruins, you'll see that there's a lot of some of the hieroglyphics are very similar to those that are used in the Middle Eastern places. I mean, just Colorado. Look at the cliff. Look at the Mesa Verde, the cliff dwellings. Those were probably here before the Spaniards ever thought about coming to. They were here probably before, say, the Arapahoes or the Lakotas or the Apaches. That group was here. They were probably here when the modern Native American tribes first came here from across the Bering Strait.
Right.
Which means there was somebody here, because that group of people is some of the oldest in the American continent.
Right. I think from what I understand is they theorized that those people were there up until the 1300s.
Yeah.
And then for some reason they left, or they didn't.
I figured they were either assimilated or died off, when you started bringing in the other groups. But yeah,
I think the climate change that caused the severe drought, and they decide, you know what, we're not growing a whole lot of corn here, maize. Let's move out of here. Let's find a better place to live. So that's what they did.
Yeah. And when you look at, have you ever been there?
Yes, I have.
Okay. You look at some of those buildings and the architecture of what they were able to do, the angles and stuff.
Right.
So precise.
Yep.
That it makes you wonder about the aliens transported them across the pond in their spaceship. Yes, that's that. There is that theory too. I forgot about that.
Yep. They climbed aboard their starship and headed towards the sky. Yep. Come sail away. Come sail away. Oh, okay. That was a little bit of Sticks there.
No,
Lloyd,
that wasn't Sticks. That sounded more like Sucks. Yeah, I hate
so
that.
let's see.
God, I hated that song.
In the Department of Education, and didn't that start under Jimmy Carter? I believe it did. Or was it Nixon? Ford?
I think it was Nixon.
Okay.
I think Nixon started it.
And there were several departments that sprung up there in the 70s that were just like Department of Energy, I think, came under Carter.
Could be. Yeah, could
Yeah,
be.
because we were
Because that's
just
when we
coming
out of the
uh,
oil shortage. Yeah,
oil shortage,
the
and
whole Suez Canal thing and all that happened in
right, that's when they
73.
decided, oh, hey, let's lower the speed limit from 75 to 55. Yeah, that'll save a lot of
Yeah,
gas.
they changed that in about 73, 74 because I was driving and I remember being able to make it from my girlfriend's house to home. I had to be home by 10 o'clock. And I could make it from her house to my house if I left at 5 minutes till, and it was a bit of a drive, but I could go 70 miles an hour, and then they dropped it to 55, and I had to leave about 15 minutes till just to make that same distance because speed limit, and to
Yep.
be honest with you, I was driving down a 2-lane. It was not really a highway, but it was a paved road,
Yeah.
and
County road.
yeah, it was well maintained, and I was crossing a bridge across the Colorado River, going up a hill, and doing all this in the dark. And I probably shouldn't have been driving that at 70 miles an hour, but that was the
Yep.
speed limit. So, uh, I was hauling butt through there, and because that meant I had more time to snog with my girlfriend,
Oh,
and which eventually led to me getting married, but that's another story.
okay.
But you learn from your mistakes. So,
Yeah, you learn.
but
But how
yeah,
come it took you 3 tries to get right? Me, never been married. I deal with that shit before I got married. You know,
yeah. Well, I was in high school when I got married the first time.
mostly me. Calling up the girl. Hey, yeah, a pretty good time. Yeah, how about we go out this week? Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I think that's why I got married when I did, because if they'd go out with me more than twice, I was ready to marry them because that meant they were going to stick with me for longer. And
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yep.
there was a couple gals but with me, it was meant to be because I ended up with the best partner in life I could have
Yep.
ever had, and don't
Yep.
regret it to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, if I hadn't have made those mistakes, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the wonderful kids I've got. And it is what it is. So, but
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
Anyway, moving along, we were going to
yeah.
talk about. Did we talk about We did talk about the astronauts, didn't we?
Astronauts. Yep.
Yeah.
And the
That was
astronaut who
that,
traded
that was
his
kind of
car.
neat to see a splashdown like that. And where did it land? Can you
Oh,
tell
it
me that?
landed in the Gulf of America. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, and do you know where the Declaration of Independence is currently at? The original?
The original, I assume it would still be in Washington, D.C.
Well, it is, but you know where it's at in Washington D.C.
Uh, oh God, it's at the archives, I
Nope,
believe.
it's not. It's
Oh,
currently in the Oval Office.
the Oval Office now.
He
Okay.
he they just put it up yesterday. The
Oh, okay.
only caveat is that they had to have a dark, dark curtain around it, and it's sitting there. It'd be off to his right side. Uh,
Oh,
you know,
opposite of his mugshot.
yeah, yeah, and he's got pictures of Washington and Reagan,
Oh,
and
cool.
both in there. Their portraits are in there, and he has this. It's sitting up about eye height, just a little bit above eye height, where you kind of look up at it, and it's in its protected frame, mounted on the wall, and
Mhm.
it has these curtains that are just big enough to cover it, and little rods that he pulls open to show it to him, but then he closes it back up because
Right. So you
they
don't
they
get
said
like
in order
in.
to do that, they'd have to have something that would block the light because the light would
Right.
would deteriorate it. But yes, first
Mhm.
president of the United States, I think, at least in many, many decades,
Right.
to have the Declaration of Independence on, excuse me, on display in the White House. So
Cool.
it's
Cool.
in the Oval Office. So
Now, okay. So, Mark's saying so. Is he trying to rewrite?
no, he's
No,
not.
the original was good enough.
The original works. No, he's not trying to rewrite it. He's got it on display because he thought that it's kind of appropriate to see why it was we told you bloody palms to get the F out of our country.
Yeah, get the hell out of here and take your money
Don't
with you.
And don't let the tea bag hit you in the butt on the way out.
Yeah, there you go.
I still like you, Mark, even if you are a palm.
Yeah. Let's see what else is going on. We got here in Colorado, we got elections for GOP chairman, and it looks like we're going to have quite a handful of people running for chairman. So hopefully the nutty ones will get weeded out, and we'll actually get some serious people running the show, and we could get back to raising money and getting good candidates into office,
right,
which has been sorely missing in the last couple of years. Yeah.
I hope for you. I hope Cool Cat it does work its way over there.
Mm-hmm.
Speak for yourself. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, Joe, I forgot you. Maybe you don't like Mark. I do.
And yeah, so hopefully Trump will rub off on some of these people, or he might be a big enough influence that the citizens of those countries will say, I kind of like his style, and I like what he's doing. Let's get rid of these oddballs and
yeah. Right now, the UK's they've got some real freedom of speech problems over there.
not only the UK, but Germany,
yeah,
where you could be fined and thrown in jail for
you can in the
insulting
UK.
somebody
Yeah.
online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Which
mean,
means half the people we see in this chat right now would probably go to jail if for stuff they write on Facebook.
right.
You know. So, just for giving our opinions, and everybody has a right to an opinion, and and that's the thing. I'm like Charles. Yeah, the view as far as it goes.
Oh, I didn't hear the ding, Charles. I'm sorry if I left you there too long. I hope you weren't waiting too long. So yeah. So what are your thoughts, Charles, to round out the show?
Well, I've been out here for about 15 minutes. So can you be a little bit more specific? What was I supposed to be thinking about?
Well, we were talking about freedom of speech and how it's sorely lacking in Europe these days, and
it's under. I hate to take the sky is falling kind of attitude, but it really is under attack.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
like you talked about the nonsense in Germany where I don't know if it's that if you say something that somebody could find hurtful or if you're just criticizing a politician. Because I did see a video about that recently, and I thought it was I thought people were being arrested because they were criticizing politicians.
Yeah,
that is the most the most dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's been some. I think they're classifying certain things that you say as hate speech, and you can be arrested for hate speech, both in the UK and in Germany. And some of it's just
And they're trying
you
to do
know you know what they're classifying as hate speech is just basically by saying I don't like your opinion and
Right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, Ronnie, I will be there. That's why I was raising my hand. I'm coming. So yeah, get to
Mm-hmm.
meet Ronnie down there in South Florida, which is about a little bit over 2 weeks away.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could be there. Hopefully next year I could go, and I'll have a drone by then.
Yeah,
So it's just going to take
yeah,
time for me to get things together. Yes, authoritarian fascism in the UK.
yeah. I'll continue to say what I want and express it myself how I see it. Since my ancestors paid the ultimate price to provide it, I'll use it. And that's exactly it, And it's uh they they're calling us fascist, and they don't. These knobhead kids that are out there protesting, calling us conservatives fascist, they need to go overseas. They need to go. They need to go live in a fascist country. I think that would be,
Right.
just let's round them up and let's ship their butts over there.
they wouldn't learn anything. They'd be like, oh, this is paradise.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Send them to Iran.
There you
Let
go.
Iran deal with them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, uh,
Yes.
you
Mm.
know that
With that.
that would solve several problems because one, it'd
Mm-hmm.
get them out of our hair, and two, it
Mm-hmm.
creates so much havoc in Iran that their government's liable to fall.
And speaking of that, some of them are being deported back to the Middle East. There was a young fella, where was it? I think it was at Colombia, where he was supporting Hamas, and he was trying to. He was here on
On a visa, on a green card.
green card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So,
they've revoked it, but I think I saw today that a judge has stepped in to
oh,
stop the deportation. So
of course.
uh,
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming, and hopefully, I hope you found this enjoyable or educational,
we're interesting.
entertaining at the least. So don't forget my other show, my drone slash entertainment show, is on tomorrow night. Only it's on an hour earlier, so you'll get to see. Well, no, Lloyd's not going to be there. Charles is, but Lon Denard will be there. Uncle Bill will be there, and maybe Don will be, and definitely Dominic will be there. So you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. God bless.